What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Nick 4K video. Today we're checking out a video from Jamie Toomey, or Toomey. Sorry, I apologize in American. And we're gonna be checking out his video that says, "You don't need 4K Blu-ray." So I'll be going back and forth with this video and I'll be giving my thoughts, whether I agree or disagree. So if you guys enjoy this video and to see more like this, make sure to like, subscribe, turn notifications for more. With that said, guys, let's jump in.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about the dilemmas of collecting 4K Blu-ray and why I feel it's putting a lot of new collectors off even wanting to start their collections.
Okay, this is
So obviously,
interesting.
Look, 4K is the new format. It's the new thing. It's the new car smell, if you say that still. It is the new format. And obviously, a lot more movies are starting to come out on 4K now, at great cost. Now, obviously, it's not too great, but you know, a new collector might look at this and say, okay, why am I going to pay 60 bucks this is Australia, 64 bucks or something. Why would I pay 64 bucks for The Mist on 4K when I can get a Blu-ray copy for $5? And it's all the new collectors on YouTube will say, oh, the quality, you need to have the new quality, it's got to be beautiful, it's got to be great, it's got to be whatever, it's got to be pristine. It's film print, it looks film print, reference quality.
Before we continue, Australia has more expensive physical media, by the way. I know their dollar's different from American, but for reference, that Mist movie right now in America is like 20 to 25 bucks. You could probably find it for cheaper as like a deal maybe, but like at most it's 30, but it's usually found between 20 to 25. So there's an example. If it's 65 with him, it's 20, 25 here. You know, that is a difference in price from a certain perspective, you know.
They throw all these buzzwords at you and other YouTubers, and I feel that's wrong. And this is the dilemma with 4K Blu-ray, because most collectors are like, oh, I don't want to buy a Blu-ray if it's kind of crappy now. I don't want to buy a Blu-ray copy if the 4K is there, but I don't want to kind of pay that much for a 4K. That's the dilemma we're in. And let me say to the new collectors out there watching this video who found it and are looking at me for advice, there is no reason why Blu-ray is bad. There is no reason why DVD is bad. There is no reason why VHS is bad if that's your preferred format. There is no reason why Laserdisc or HD DVD or any other format is bad. If it's your preferred format and you're buying the physical media associated with that format, there is no reason why you, as the individual, not them YouTubers over there, not the YouTubers telling you need to go 4K, you, the buyer who's going to consume this media, there is no reason why you should have to listen to like all the YouTubers saying, buy 4K, buy 4K, buy 4K. I mean, look, it looks great. I will say there are a lot of great transfers. There are also a lot of ungreat transfers, like Terminator 2, as I've said. But to say like, okay, just because a 4K copy exists, doesn't mean you need to have it. And look, I am of the mindset that you can choose your own experience with physical media collecting. If all you can afford is DVD, and you can get it on the secondhand market, always double check that the discs aren't scratched if you're buying secondhand, just quickly pull it out and have a quick look. But if that's all you can afford and you want to collect physical media, there is nothing wrong with DVD. As long as you don't try to sharpen it up to 4K or whatever. If you've got a 4K TV, don't try to turn the TV sharpening up all the way to 100 and expect to look like a 4K Blu-ray. It's not going to look like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if you leave it at 0 sharpness and you make it make it suit you, or if you watch it on an old school plasma or an old school CRT, it's still going to look great. Like, there is nothing wrong with these formats. It's just a matter of, we live in a day and age where technology is moving so fast and we feel like we need to adopt the new hotness. We need to adopt the new format. We must adopt the new one. We must make physical media survive.
Yeah, so actually to add to what you just said there, I agree and I also disagree. I agree with the fact that, you know, work with your budget, right? Whatever your budget says you can get. If you cannot afford a 4K, you cannot afford Blu-rays. At this point, Blu-rays are pretty cheap, especially the secondhand ones. You can find like a lot of them for like what, a couple, like 30 bucks, 40 bucks. You can probably get like at least 20 Blu-rays maybe. I don't actually know how it'd be in Australia, but as far as like the American experience goes, you work with your budget. And I think that Blu-rays are kind of the point where DVDs were a couple years ago, where like DVDs were getting to the point where like they were getting $2, $3 a piece. Blu-rays are now at that point. You know, you can get them secondhand for $3 a piece. That's not too bad. The problem is once people are still buying retail DVDs, they're still paying like 20 some bucks. You might as well just pop the extra $10 to get yourself a 4K version. So that's my only argument against that certain perspective, because you're getting the better quality, you're supporting the 4K format, and then you're also going to see what that 4K format can do for you, and you're gonna take the next leap. Even if it isn't you're going to 4K, you're at least going to Blu-ray. For the most part, if we want physical media to survive, it has to keep on making money. That next format has to be doing something. If we all just said, you know what, DVD is good enough, Blu-rays would probably exist, but 4Ks would have never came about. And that's what it comes down to. I know that I probably get some hate for this, and it's understandable. I get that. But we need to support the next highest quality we can get, and that is 4K Blu-ray. If we want to potentially see an 8K Blu-ray at some time, and maybe not 8K Blu-ray, but maybe like whatever they use for an 8K transfer. I know that those discs are being made that can support 8K discs now, something like that. I don't know if that's going to be an actual thing. It can be done now at least, but we'll see if it actually happens. You got to support the next highest quality. But like what he said, ultimately it comes down to your budget. If you can only afford DVDs, and DVDs are like 25 cents a piece now, so like that's, you can buy a lot of DVDs. You could buy a ton of DVDs for the same price as a brand new 4K at this point. But if budget is your thing, then yeah, go with your budget, work with your budget. But ultimately, if you do have the budget to take that step to Blu-ray, take the step to Blu-ray. And even better, if you have the budget to go to 4K, take that next step to 4K. I think a lot of people are kind of afraid to jump into 4K. They think Blu-rays are just good enough, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, you're okay with that. Some Blu-rays actually look pretty good now, especially the newer stuff. They're effectively just taking that 4K transfer and downscaling it anyways without the HDR. So that's what you're getting with the Blu-ray, and it looks good. Like, it looks good enough. And a lot of TVs, they have the automatic HDR effect on it anyway, so they'll give it fake HDR. Now, for me, when I buy something, I want the best version of what I can get. Now, it all comes down to, is the best version a lot more expensive than the second best version? When it comes to DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K, there's like the three different tiers. The 4K is more expensive, but it really is only like an extra $5 more expensive than the Blu-ray usually. When it comes to new releases, you see like, it usually goes like this. A brand new DVD is $20, a brand new Blu-ray is $25, and then a brand new 4K is $30. So yes, 20 is cheaper than 30. 25 is cheaper than 30. But 30 is the maximum best version of that item you're going to get. It just makes sense to just go full out and keep doing that. Especially if you're coming from the sense of a brand new collector, like you didn't start collecting yet. I would not waste my time with DVDs or Blu-rays. Maybe some Blues if I can't find them in 4K. I would just jump right into the 4K format. If I was starting collecting right now in 2024, almost 2025, I would jump into the 4K collection for sure. 4K collecting would be what I would do. And I'd only collect the Blues, and I would never, there's no reason to collect DVDs. I might collect Blues of the 4Ks that don't have transfers yet, like I said, but ultimately, it would just be the 4Ks for me at this point. But that's just my perspective. Let's keep hearing what he has to say on this.
And yes, if no one buys 4K, 4K will die. Like, we get it.
That's what I just said.
1.7 or 1.8% of the market or something. And if we don't support it, then retailers might say, oh, no one's buying 4K, why would we even release a 4K? Well, that's the dilemma. The consumer at the end determines what they're comfortable with buying. And 4K Blu-ray is starting to drop now. It's starting to really come down in price, so it's beginning to get a lot more new collectors to it because the price can be justified at a lower rate.
Yeah,
but
so in America, newer 4Ks are usually dropped at 30. Usually there's a standard 4K, which is 30. Sometimes, like, some transfers will drop at 25, and then there's, like, a steelbook that will be, like, 35. So at max, you're usually paying 35 for a movie, unless you're going boutique, which is usually 35 to start, right? 35 or even higher. So you have to kind of, like, just watch out for deals and stuff, and if you really want a movie, pick that movie up. There's some people who want to buy every single transfer they can, and there's a lot of people, and I think most collectors will probably just buy what they like or what is cheap. But the majority of the 4K library right now, like the older ones that have been out for like 2 years plus, you can usually find those for $20 or less, sometimes 15, sometimes even 10 or less, depending on the deals you could find. So there is that to consider.
there is no reason why Blu-ray is bad. There's no reason why you can't just buy Blu-rays. On the second-hand market, Blu-rays are a lot more like a lot more strengthy than a DVD, so they don't maintain a lot of scratches. And so a lot of Blu-rays that I bought in the early days were second-hand, and I would always check them for scratches. They were always pretty pristine because it's very hard to scratch a Blu-ray. I mean, unless you're really trying or using it as a coaster or something, it's really hard to scratch a Blu-ray.
He's right.
But there is no reason why Blu-ray is bad. Like, you can easily pick a Blu-ray copy over a 4K. There are even people who say that stuff like Lord of the Rings, yes, it looks great on 4K, don't get me wrong, it looks fantastic on 4K, but there was DNR done to that, and people will have the arguments, I'm sure, and I've heard a couple of people say this, they prefer the DVD copy over even the Blu-ray.
I did hear that,
and there
too.
is nothing wrong with that.
We did a video on that recently,
It is not about you need to keep up with me or keep up with Films at Home or keep up with all these other people in the space trying to tell you that, hey, this is great and look how good this looks. And there's people pooing all over this one at the moment on YouTube. I haven't watched it. This is another thing. If you don't think this is the copy for you, if you've watched YouTube clips and say, okay, cool, I don't really know if I want to pick that up, don't pick it up. There is a DVD copy that you can easily get, and it's probably a lot cheaper than trying to get this. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not going to make any determinations on the quality of this until I've laid my own eyes on it, and that's why I bought it, because I wanted to see that I'm relaying the right information.
Yeah, so I just did a video on this, actually. So I actually think the True Lies 4K looks great. I understand the arguments, I get the issues, I really do, and like I said, I covered all that in that previous video. I'll leave a link to that up here in one of the cards. If I have to choose between the 4K and the DVD, I'm going to choose the 4K. Sorry. That's just what I think. The first time I watched these movies were on the 4K though, so maybe if I grew up with that movie, like as in DVD form or even VHS, and then I saw the 4K, that bothered me more. But my first experience was in the 4K version, and so I think it looks great. So then again, I'm also watching on OLED, so you know everything on OLED looks great. That's the way it is.
I haven't watched this yet, but I do plan on watching it, and I will do a review on it at some point. But to say that, look, if I was going off all the YouTubers and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I don't want to buy that. There is no reason why the DVD version is bad. DVD is still I think it's still the top selling physical media format in the world. DVD is not bad. Blu-ray is not bad either. Or even, look, horror fans will say VHS. There is no reason why a VHS copy is bad at all either. If you're watching on a CRT, now obviously it's going to look dated if you're trying to watch it on a 4K display with sharpness turned up all the way. But if you put this on a CRT TV or even a 1080p plasma or something, this will look great. Like, as long as you have reservations and know what you're buying and are like happy with what you're buying, then yeah, let's just put that back over there.
That's a good argument too. I think a lot of those older like slasher movies, their transfers were like almost designed for VHS in mind. It seems like Freddy, Jason, I don't know, a lot of those guys just don't really make sense in HD quality. It's almost like those movies are supposed to be more like grainy and not, I don't know, it's like the feel. It feels like vintage, you know. It feels eerie, I guess, too. I don't know. It's maybe it's just me. I've seen a couple different horrors in 4K. They're not my particular favorite type of genre. I prefer more of like story-oriented movies or comedies or action or anything besides horror. Usually horror is actually kind of more of the less interesting because you kind of know what's going on type of thing. 4K transfers don't hit as well as like the DVDs or even the VHSs did of the scary movies, which are just interesting. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just my brain that thinks that, but I don't know. There's just something about like that older, grainier, rough-looking transfer that works better with it. I don't know.
But you got to have reservations about this stuff. You need to be aware that, okay, you're buying a DVD. I've been collecting DVD purchases for all my wrestling events up until WWE stopped it late last year. Now, I was also collecting particular Blu-rays, so like I'd collect all the WrestleManias on Blu-ray, I'll collect all the Royal Rumbles on Blu-ray. Survivor Series and SummerSlam I wouldn't really care about, but then I'd have a few select ones here and there. But my two main ones were always Royal Rumble and Mania. Like, as long as I had them two on Blu-ray, I'm happy. But they've announced they've stopped that. And they've also stopped DVD production. But for a lot of I have the whole year for 2023, whole year for 2022, backwards, so forth. And the whole reason for that is that it is not bad. It's just I want to have a copy of this in case the network ever goes down, or in case it's sold, and it's sold to TKO now, and they've got the Netflix deal. But how's Netflix going to edit it? But this is the thing. I am very much I want to own a physical copy, a physical representation of what it is. And the whole thing is that we live in a day and age that everything has to be the new hotness. Everything has to be the new format. Everything has to be on 4K. Everything has to be the new. There's nothing wrong with the old versions. I can pull a copy of, let's see here. I can pull a copy of Queen of the Damned, which this movie got me through some tough times. Like, this was I turned this movie a lot when I was depressed.
Queen of the Damned.
Was it 2008, 2009? Somewhere around there. I turned to this movie a lot when I was depressed, and I was like, because Lestat in this movie is, he has the mentality of like someone gone through depression almost, and yeah, there's no reason why this is a bad copy. If they come out with 4K of this, yes, I'll probably pick it up on 4K, but there is no reason why this is bad. I mean, there are people who say, oh, but there's transfers that are bad from the get-go. Yes, there are. Don't buy it then. And there's the thing, you don't have to compete. Just because I have a collection like this, and you feel inspired to start your collection, doesn't mean you need to go out and say, okay, I need to spend... What's something here I spent a stupid amount on?
I think every collector at some point has done something like that. When I first started collecting, Criterion did like their 50% off sale, and I bought a bunch of Criterion movies that I knew I was never going to watch just because they were on sale, I guess. But they were 4K transfers, and yeah, I just bought them. Now, there were a few that I actually did want, like Dazed and Confused. That was an amazing transfer, and I loved the little book that came with it. And then there was also the Princess Bride. I needed that one. I had never actually seen Princess Bride since then, but I was waiting for the 4K transfer. There it was. It was awesome. Loved it. And it's just one of those things where you do kind of get sucked into it if you're not careful. So that's one of those things where I always try to just let like new collectors know, like, hey, just so you know, this is something that like once you go deep in, you'll get pulled in. Like it's a slippery slope. You know, they say slippery slope. Collecting physical media, especially like when you find deals, man, it's a slippery slope. You'll just slide right in, and before you know it, you'll have hundreds of 4Ks and Blu-rays like me, and now you're trying to minimize your life a little bit, so you're selling them off a little bit here and there. You will go through a lot of money if you start collecting, especially like you see his collection, like that's crazy, and he's not even the craziest I've seen. You know, I've seen some pretty crazy collections, so it's slippery slope, but if you're ready for it and you actually want it, you're gonna have a great time collecting for sure.
It's up the top. I'm not getting it down, but there's no reason why you have to collect Columbia classics. Just because I have it in my collection doesn't mean you need to have it in your collection. And if you feel passionate about having it in your collection, then look at the cost and say, okay, well, I feel comfortable paying this cost. And if you can't justify it, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Very simple.
That's ultimately what it comes down to.
Studios are going to do what they're going to do.
Yep.
If they say no one's buying physical media, no one's buying this release, we don't really want it, we're not going to manufacture 4K anymore. If studios are doing that, that's none of your business. You just collect because you want to own that movie, not them, not the YouTubers. You are collecting because you want it. And that is why I feel the need to make this video, because so often we're hearing from YouTubers, go ahead and collect 4K, and this has looked better than ever, and frame by frame, you can see all the resolution in this shot, and if you go frame by frame and look at this little detail compared to this little detail, it's about enjoying the movie. We've lost track of enjoying movies for quality and frame by frame, and how, is this a good transfer, isn't it a good transfer? Like, if I pop this in my player...
That's an okay, I get where he's coming from.
I'm going to be a bit annoyed if I see Arnold Schwarzenegger like I did in Terminator, or if they've changed colours significantly. But at the end of the day, if I enjoy this copy and I've decided, okay, it has some flaws, but I kind of enjoy watching it, then I'll make that call on that day and say, okay, I don't really want to watch the DVD copy anymore. I think this is the definitive way to watch it. I can't say that yet because I haven't watched it, but if I made that call and I watched it and my own eyes verified that was the copy I wanted to watch.
So the thing is, I understand where he's coming from with that too. It just depends on who you watch. There's going to be some people who are out there who are just going to experience the transfer, it's not going to be like how they remember, and they're going to just complain about it and try to get people to not buy it too because they didn't like it. And then you have like more legit reviewers who will actually take the time to break it down and give their thoughts on it. And it's like they're not getting paid to do the review. They're doing the review because they want to give their genuine thoughts and they want to help out maybe someone else do their own, educated purchase, especially if you're on a budget. You know what I mean? If you're on a budget, you got to make sure you're doing educated purchases if you're going to pursue physical media. And that's what it comes down to.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we need to stop relying on what others tell us, and we need to just do what we feel at heart is best for us. And you might say, oh, but I don't want to go out and buy a Blu-ray unless I'm 100% sure. Don't. 9 times out of 10, the stuff you see on digital, like iTunes, or even like the streamers like Netflix or Disney, like I think True Lies is on Disney now in 4K. There's no reason why you can't watch the 4K resolution version on Disney Plus, and then make the determination whether you want to have the Blu-ray representation of that a physical representation of that movie in your collection.
Okay,
make that determination first, then decide if you want to buy it or not.
That's an interesting argument. Just because streaming bitrate is not nearly as good as a 4K bitrate, but if it is the same transfer, even if the bitrate is way lower, you are kind of getting a good representation of what you might be purchasing. So if you do watch something on 4K streaming, you're kind of doing a demo to see if you actually want to buy it on 4K physical. That is one way to determine that. I mean, I never thought of it that way. But there you go. That is another way to determine it if you don't want to listen to other people's opinions or thoughts. Ultimately, I say find some people online who you think have good thoughts when it comes to the physical 4K transfer and just hear what they have to say. But like he said, if you don't believe them or you don't want to believe them, you want your own thoughts, find the digital transfer first, stream it for free on the streaming services, and then buy it physically. That's something.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's smart.
But don't be swayed by collectors telling you on YouTube that you need to be collecting everything and you need to run it on buy 4K, and if you're not collecting the latest format, then whatever. And Jeff from Films at Home, because he's one of the people who inspired me to really look at, starting this channel.
Yeah, Jeff's one of the biggest.
That's why I mentioned him a lot.
He might be the biggest content creator for
in the space that I'm in now, with the physical media space. He's like the leader. He's like, he gets all this information. He does all this other stuff. He does really good videos as well. But he has the same mentality. Don't try to keep up with us. Don't try to keep up with others. You collect because you love it and because you want to have a representation of something you love in your collection, ready, accessible. Don't collect because you want to keep up with us, or try to collect this because it looks cool. Now, it does look cool, but don't get me wrong. If you can't justify
the ladies
cost,
love
you can't justify the
Let's
space.
Be honest here.
And you're just
we
collecting
do it
because
we do it for the ladies.
Because YouTube has told you to. You're collecting for the wrong reasons. And at the end of the day, you're going to hate it because it's not really who you are. You might only like 5 of these movies. So why would you have 50 of them if you only like 5 of them? And also, why would you own them on 4K when the Blu-ray works fine for you? There is no reason to upgrade if you are happy with the Blu-ray copy. Just because the new format is there doesn't mean you need to buy the new format. And yes, studios, as I've said many times during this video already, studios will do whatever they're going to do. If they need to cancel 4K distribution or whatever, or get out of the Blu-ray game like Disney did, or whatever, it's not your problem.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Disney isn't doing physical media in Australia anymore, so this affects him. That's interesting. I don't think I've actually met an Australian yet who did physical collecting who actually was affected by that. So that is interesting. There you go.
To tell you the truth, there are enough Disney movies out there on other formats that even if Disney went under tomorrow, you can still pick up all your favorite Disney movies on Blu-ray, on DVD, on Laserdisc, on VHS, on Betamax. I don't know if they did Betamax, but there is enough other formats out there that if they got out of the physical media game like they did and said, we're not making anything else, or Sony's going to do it all, you can still get all the favorite movies you want. I'm just saying, Blu-ray's out there, DVD's out there. I've got a box set up there, Disney Classics. I can't show it right now, but it's up there. I'll show it at the end of this video. I'll end this video on the box set of Disney if I can get it down. It's pretty high up.
I wonder how high the shelves go. They just go all the way like
Just
3 stories
because
high.
others are collecting it in the same space that you are a fan of, it means that you need to collect it as well. And that is a misconception. That is so wrong. And you should collect because you love it, not because others are inspiring you to collect 4K or want you to collect 4K or saying the space will go belly up if no one supports this format. Cool, let it go belly up. I don't care. Arrow's Videos is still releasing things. Kino Lorber is still releasing things. Half the time they do it better than the studios anyway. So
that might be where the future of 4K physical media is going to go. The boutiques. That's where that's where the next big step is. They will charge more money to be able to do stuff and to license, and that's understandable. But I think I'm more okay giving my money to a boutique for like a really high quality transfer, which the majority of them are usually better, like you said, in the studios anyways, than giving the money to the studio for a subpar transfer. I might be the only person who thinks that, but I think that is the future of where the physical media in general is going to go. 4K obviously is going to most likely go that direction. And Blu-rays will potentially go that way too. DVDs, who knows? DVDs, for some reason, people are still buying DVDs new. Like I said, there are people out there paying $20-$25 for DVDs. And then they're fine with that, and they just keep on doing that. They have no interest in Blu-rays and 4Ks. Now I, with the thousands of people who follow me on different social medias, I have yet to see anyone truly even talk about DVD ever. So I don't know who is doing it, but DVD still has the highest market share out of them, and no one really knows how or why anymore. So I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, but that's the way it is.
if Warner Brothers want to get out of physical media, or Disney, or whoever, so what? The thing is, there are enough other formats to collect their media on. And I'm going to end it right here. I will stand up and show this Disney movie box anyways. So let's tilt this up, because I'm going to stand up and I'm going to show you this box.
Dang, that is pretty high shelf.
Let's go up there. And I'm going to stand up because I'm
Dang, look at him. He's set.
I actually get it down from up there and show you what it looks like.
Real quick, let's go over his thing here. He's got the Columbia Classics 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 isn't out yet. It's coming out soon. These are worth money, especially a 1. This one, like right here, that's like a $600 set right there. This is probably like, you can probably find the Columbia Classics 2 for like 200 something. 3 is like $70, and then the fourth one is like 100 right now or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, something like that. And then the new one's dropping for like $100. But yeah, he's got some heavy hitters over here, especially with that. If he ever needs money, he could make some money with that. What else has he got? Anything else fancy up here? Yeah, this is like $100 set right here. Yeah, this guy's a big boy collector. He is a big boy collector. He's got the Bruce Lee set up here. Oh, he's okay. That's the Disney set he's talking about. Okay, let's look at this thing.
Put the microphone there, and let's have a look at this Disney box set. Disney Classics. Let's get the glare off.
This thing in America is like
a Blu-ray.
$1,200.
I'm just gonna put the microphone on.
So in Australia, that's probably like $18,000.
I'm just gonna put this microphone on my shirt so you
$2,000.
can actually properly hear me. This is a Rode microphone, by the way. If anyone's wondering what I'm actually using, it's actually a Rode microphone. But I got rid of the mic guard on it. I don't call it a dead cat. It's whatever. But
The Rode microphones are pretty good.
yes, this Disney box set is fantastic, and I haven't opened it because it's a collector's item. But you know, the fact that I have
never open that.
57
Never open
movies
that.
in this Disney movies, I know that I'm never going to run out of Disney movies to watch. I've got a collection of Disney. And if you want to see it, if you want to see what movies this has on it, I'm trying to get that glare off. There you go. If you could.
Let's check these out. Yeah, these are all the... Oh, wait, hold on a second. DVD. Oh, so they're not even all Blu-ray. Okay, it's only those 5 that are DVD, which I guess is fine. But it's one of those things... Oh, no, there's 6. 6 of them are DVDs. And they're not really even like any of the big ones either. Understandable. I remember the big controversy for this set when this first came out was that it was like $1,200 for all of these, and then they're not even 4K. Like, that was a big argument because by the time that this was coming out, the majority of these were already on 4K releases. So like, people were like complaining like, hey, all of these movies on this section right here, well, not all of them, the majority of them all have 4K transfers already. And then there's other ones down here, other animation ones that have 4K. Like a quarter of the movies in here already had 4Ks. Where's the rest of the 4K transfers? That was a big thing when this first dropped. I think a lot of people just kind of forgot about it because there was more important things going on in the world at the time. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's cool. I'm glad people like this. I would never pay $1,200 for this thing. But I'm glad people like it, especially like Australian. I don't know. Like I said, he probably paid $2,000 for this thing. But this is cool. I don't need it. If it was a 4K transfers on all of them, I would actually probably picked it up, honestly. But nah, that's just too much for my blood.
If you pause this and make it 4K resolution, you can read all that. And yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. I'll come back a bit so you can get a bit more resolution out of it. There you go. But the fact that Disney have that box set, and don't get me wrong, they've done a new box set with Pixar in it. So there is a new box set out there, but I didn't feel the need to go out and buy the new box set because...
Oh, there's a Pixar one too.
I've got all the Pixar movies down here. Bang.
Oh,
I've got a lot of Disney movies up here. I've got a lot of Disney and Pixar down the bottom as well on Blu-ray. So there is no need for me to actually go out and buy the new box set. And I'm happy with this box set. This box set right here. So yes. Let me come back around here and we'll end it. You can see my little mic guard on the table. I think I got that from Kmart. Which Kmart Australia, not Kmart US. I don't even know if there is a Kmart in the US.
Yeah, I think they came.
So yes,
we did have
Kmart's.
Kmart's. Real quick, we did have Kmart's, but our Kmart's are all gone now. I'm pretty sure they all got replaced by Targets. At least mine did. I don't know about anyone else's. But before it got replaced, man, that place was getting run down. So it's for the best.
And there is nothing wrong with collecting the older versions. This is Blu-ray. So if I wanted to watch Disney movies, I mean, I have some 4K ones. Obviously, over here I've got a lot of Disney. But the fact that I've also got it on Blu-ray, here we go. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And you should be collecting because you love it. And there is no reason why older formats can't work for you. If you can only afford DVD, DVD is great as well. There's also certain cuts on DVD that haven't come out to Blu-ray, so...
I did hear about that.
Collect because you love it. That's all I'll end on. Collect because you love it. Not because another collector is saying you need to. And as always, like, subscribe, drop a comment, notify, I don't know what else. I don't know.
All the things. Just do all the things.
Willie's in the public domain now. Steamboat Willie.
All right, I'll stop it there. The video is almost done anyways. Thank you, Jamie. That was an awesome video. Guys, definitely check out his channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So what I have to say for all this is effectively, like he ended with the message, you know, collecting your budget, and that's what it comes down to. I know it is hard to look at like guys like this and see that collection and think to yourself, I want that collection. I'm gonna get all the ladies with that collection, right? And work with your budget. And it takes time. You know, he didn't get all this stuff right away. You know, I mean, this took years for him to build. It's going to take years for you to build as well, and just take your time, make the right choice. If you want to do 4K, do 4K. I would recommend, if you can afford 4K, go with 4K. That's what I will say. I'm not going to tell you to do that, but as a 4K collector who has seen the benefits of what 4K is and HDR effectively, go 4K. If you can't do 4K, do Blu-ray. If you can't do Blu-ray, DVD is fine. But I would recommend at least doing Blu-ray. But that's just me. If you have any cool ideas for future videos you want to see me do reactions and reviews to, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you next one. Peace.